To update on the Kano Emirate tussle, despite the Kano State government's insistence that the appeal court did not nullify Sanusi's reinstatement as Emir of Kano, the camp of deposed Ado Bayero, led by Aminu Baba Agundi, said their principal remains the authentic Emir of Kano pending the judgment of the Apex Court. Speaking to journalists in Kano, Baba Agundi called on the public to discountenance the comments by the Kano State Attorney General and wait for the Supreme Court's judgment. Also addressing journalists in Kano shortly after the ruling, Haruna Dederi, the State's Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, said the ruling does not invalidate the reinstatement of Lamido Sanusi as the 16th Emir of Kano. In a ruling delivered on Friday, the appeal court temporarily held off on enforcing its own judgment, overturning a ruling of the Federal High Court invalidating the Kano State government's repeal of the 2019 Emirate Council law.
The respected panel of justices heard and granted the application for stay pending the hearing and determination of the existing appeal before the Supreme Court. This is normal and usual routine because it happens when any party wishes to maintain the status quo in a given matter pending the determination of a substantive appeal. It is, however, worrisome seeing the various captions and headlines deliberately intended to mislead the general public by misrepresenting the facts. We hereby use this medium to call upon those involved in these negative and destructive misrepresentations to desist from interfering in judicial processes. The judiciary, as a sacred institution, must be jealously respected and guarded for the preservation of peace and orderliness of society.
An injunction is hereby granted, restraining the respondents herein name either themselves, their agent, previous servants, or personal representatives from imposing the judgment of this court. And they cited the number of the case. CNKN 126-2024, Kano State House of Assembly, and versus Alhaji Aminu Babadang Agundi and others. And others. So I heard people saying it is only Aminu Babada Agundi that went to court. I went to court on behalf of myself and the 5 emirs in Kano, which include His Royal Highness Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, the Emir of Kano.
This week's Senate proceedings addressed major legislative developments, security concerns and political controversies. From by-elections to security interventions and debates on electoral reforms, News Center's National Assembly correspondent Sagia Ibrahim brings a recap of key highlights from the Red Chamber this week.
By addressing vacant seats in the Red Chamber, they directed the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct by-elections in Anambra South and Edo Central following the death of Senator Ifeanyi Uba and the election of Senator Monday Okpewolo as Edo State Governor.
And we urge INEC to immediately conduct, in line with the Constitution, elections to fill those 2 vacancies.
It also called on INEC to implement the Supreme Court ruling restoring the Anyocha 2 state constituency in Delta State following a motion by Delta North Senator Ned Nwoko to ensure fair representation for the affected constituency.
The delay in implementing the Supreme Court judgment undermines the rule of law, disenfranchising the people of the affected towns, and also denying them proper representation in Delta State House of Assembly.
Insecurity in Benue State also dominated discussions. The Senate called for urgent action, urging the Benue State government to enforce its open grazing and ranching laws to prevent further clashes.
The inability of the present administration in Benue State to enforce the law has exposed
members of the National Assembly from Benue State to undue pressure and name-calling by our constituents.
No demonstration of empathy has been shown by the government of Benue State. Those of us elected on the platform of this Senate are endangered species because our communities think, and unfortunately very wrongly, that it is our responsibility to provide security.
On electoral reforms, the Senate passed for second reading a bill seeking to amend the Electoral Act to provide for early voting. Sponsor of the bill, Abdulaziz Yaradua, explained that the amendment aims to allow essential service providers like security agents, journalists, and electoral officials to vote before Election Day. Amid these developments, the Senate passed a vote of confidence on its president, Godswill Akpabio, following allegations of sexual harassment leveled against him by suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Majority Leader Kweyemi Bamidele emphasized the need to put the matter to rest, describing it as a distraction from the Senate's constitutional mandate.
We need to concentrate. There is work to be done, and we need to concentrate on our mandate, regardless of what anybody might say, Mr. President. We do not only stand united around our mandate, but that we also communicate this clearly to members of the Nigerian public, by moving a vote of confidence in the Senator Godswill Akpabio leadership of this Senate.
With legislative decisions addressing security, electoral reforms, and political controversies, this week's Senate proceedings underscored efforts to maintain order in governance. In Abuja for News Central, I'm Sagir Ibrahim.
In Rivers State, the Kalabari people who are of the Ijaw Nation have held a civic reception to honor the EFCC Minister Nyesom Wike. The event, a thanksgiving for the Supreme Court ruling on Rivers political affairs, comes just 3 days after the minister described the Ijaw people as a minority during a media chat. News Central's correspondent Biola Festus has more.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, arrives in Abalama, a stronghold of the Rivers Ijaws, in grand style amidst protests by the Ijaw Youth Council, Eastern Zone.
Police don't share tear gas, so police don't shoot tear gas.
The civic reception is happening despite warnings from several quarters to dissuade organizers from inviting the minister to Kalabari and Ijaw stronghold. Addressing his teeming supporters, Wike clarifies that he is on the side of the Ijaws and supports their desire of producing a governor.
What you have done today is to tell the world all this noise in the radio is not the real thing. You are the Calabaris, you are of the Ijaw Nation, and you are receiving me today.
It recalls the uproar elicited by his recent media conference, which had put stakeholders of the Ijaw ethnic nationality at edge.
What I said on my interview, people will want to misinterpret. Whatever they want to misinterpret is their business. What I said is this, and I want to repeat it. We are all working together. If we don't work together, it will be difficult to produce a government.
Commenting on the feud between him and the governor, Similalayi Fubara, the FCT minister asserts that the governor has been having a tea party with those who never meant well for his government. He boasts that Governor Fubara's woes are far from ending.
I served with people who wanted to be governor, whom I said no, this wouldn't mean well for Rivers State. Now, they are the ones surrounding you, giving you advice. Why do you think you succeed? They will give you bad and see what the bad advice is doing to you. You're already down 2-0. 2-0.
and more to come.
Stakeholders in Kalabari recount the FCT minister's benevolence to their ethnicity, describing them as indications of his indiscriminatory attributes.
As a two-term governor, you gave everything to Rivers people. Not only in terms of unparalleled development, but also positively changing the dynamics of inter-ethnic relationships through enhancing strategic collaboration among the ethnic groups in the state. You protected, defended, and gave a sense of belonging to every ethnic group in the state. The Ijos cannot thank you enough in this regard.
I hear people say, Ijo, Asawana. Is who made the Ijo governor? Yes, so we can make the Ijo governor for the first time in our history. We are not the only ones in the Niger Delta. We are a small fraction of the Niger Delta. We have other ethnic nationalities that make up the Niger Delta. And we need them to be able to survive and exist as the people of the Ijo people.
Meanwhile, the Ijo Youth Council had staged an early morning anti-Wike protest at the entrance of the community where the reception was holding, in response to the comments made by the FCT minister that the Ijos are minority in Rivers State. In Asari Toru, for News Central, Biola Festus.
In the meantime, youths under the aegis of the Niger Delta Youth Council have threatened to shut down oil productions across the region over the ongoing political crisis. The groups issued a 7-day ultimatum to President Bola Tinubu demanding, among other things, the immediate restoration of Rivers State's statutory revenue allocation, an end to all impeachment plots against Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and a public retraction of alleged anti-Ijo remarks attributed to former Governor Nyesom Wike. In an open letter to the president signed by the NDYC president, Bene Mamamu, the group warned that failure to meet their demands could result in a total shutdown of oil production in the region. To security matters, Abia State Governor Alex Oti has ordered for the demolition of the building in Osokwa, Osisioma local government area. Some kidnapped young men were stashed away by their abductors. 4 able-bodied men were rescued from the kidnappers then in Osisioma local government area by the men of the Intelligence Response Unit of the State Police Command. The Abia State Commissioner of Police, Danladi Issa, at a press conference on Saturday at the Government House in Umuahia, informed the governor of how his men were able to respond and rescue the kidnapped victims on the night of March 2025. Governor Alex Oti commended the team that executed the operation and pledged an undisclosed reward for them.
We're able to track them to Asokwa in Osisiama's area in the bid to make our way into the premises. My tactical teams were seriously under a very heavy gunfire. In the exchange of fire that ensued, 6 of the kidnappers were neutralized. Some escaped with bullet injuries. 2 AK-47 were recovered.
We will locate the owner of that house if he has not been located, and he will be prosecuted. Anywhere that people yield their houses to criminals, that means those people, those landlords are also criminals themselves. And we are going to be very, very intolerant to those going forward. I would also like the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs to interface with the traditional ruler of that place, because it shows something is wrong.
So the Nametons, the Crossroads pointed their guns, 2 of them pointed their guns at us. There were 4 in number, pointed their guns at us, asked us to offer car, we entered into the vehicle. They drove us to an unknown destination. So we were there to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They collected our phones, we lost our phones, and collected money. Some of us did transfer to them. So.
Amidst growing security concerns, the Borno State government has provided new operational vehicles to the police, military, and other security agencies to combat the resurgence of attacks in rural areas. The development comes as the Inspector General of Police visits Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, to access the security situation. News Center's Umaru Kirawa has details.
Recent security incidents, including targeted attacks on rural communities and highways in northeast Nigeria, have heightened concerns. Inspector General of Police, accompanied by senior officers, visited Maiduguri to meet with the state governor and discuss ways to enhance security operations.
We are gathered here to present 110 operational vehicles, 500 motorcycles to security agencies in Borno State. Out of these 110 vehicles, 60 will be given to the Nigerian Police Force, while 50 will be given to the Nigerian military, plus 500 motorcycles.
These operational assets are going to be put into immediate operational use for the enhancement of security and safety of the people of Borno State. Your support is a testament to the strong partnership that is existing between your government and the security agencies in this state. And I want to assure you that we are committed, strongly committed, to continue this partnership with you. And I thank you for all that you have done for the security agencies in the past, and we are not going to disappoint you.
The newly acquired vehicles are expected to improve the mobility and effectiveness of security personnel in tackling the remnants of insurgents threatening the state. Officials emphasize the need for proactive measures to sustain peace across the country.
We will collectively aspire to achieve the strategic vision of the Inspector General of Police that the crime waves should be reduced to at least 50% in the year 2025.
We utilize this to ensure that we create an enabling environment for all other items of governance to thrive, especially the return of IDPs to their ancestral homes, which we are envisaging in the coming times.
The Borno State government has also provided 280 housing units for police officers to boost morale and support their role in maintaining peace. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
News Central emerges fastest rising television station at Independent Award 2024. We have details of this and more after the break. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, has called for greater commitment, integrity and professionalism from operatives of the Commission as it intensifies efforts to combat economic and financial crimes in the country. Speaking after a 3-day management retreat for EFCC Directors in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Olukoyede stressed that the agency's effectiveness depends on the integrity and professionalism of its workforce. The EFCC boss commended the dedication of the operatives in achieving some milestones in 2024 and urged them to redouble their efforts to surpass last year's record. Olukoyede urged them to redouble their efforts in surpassing last year's record and uphold the integrity of the Commission's process. Let's tell you that officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have intercepted cocaine concealed in prayer beads and locally made shoes. The agency disclosed that the suspects were intercepted while trying to transport the illicit substance to the Holy Land. The agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, shared pictures of the seized contraband on X.com on Sunday. Wife of the president, Oluremi Tinubu, has clinched the Woman of the Year award at the Independent Awards 2024 held in Lagos, while Seyi Makinde, Governor of Oyo State, received the flagship Man of the Year award for the priority and sustained attention given by his administration to multi-sectoral investment in infrastructure across the state, in education, health, road, and the all-important agricultural sector. Other governors who were recognized for providing impactful leadership include Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, who is the Governor of the Year. Solid Mineral Development. The Independent Newspapers Award for Development in the Health Sector goes to Sheriff Oborewori of Delta State, while Basiotu, the Governor of Cross River State, received the award of Governor of the Year 2024 for Economic Transformation. Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State was also recognized for his efforts to enhance national food security.
I received this prestigious Woman of the Year 2024 award from the Independence Newspaper Limited on behalf of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Mother of the Nation, Her Excellency, Distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, my mother, my mentor. She has asked me to thank the board of the directors of Independence Newspaper Limited for this great honor accorded to her, and this will also inspire her to do more hard work. The First Lady would like to dedicate this award to every Nigerian woman, youth, and children who contribute to the growth of our beloved nation. Ramadan Kareem and happy Lenten season to you all. Eshe Pupo. God bless the Independent Newspaper Limited. God bless our beloved country, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Meanwhile, New Central Television has clinched the fastest rising television station of the year 2024 at the Independent Newspaper Annual Awards ceremonies. The ceremony had dignitaries from all spheres of human endeavor in attendance to celebrate distinguished men, women, and institutions that made the year 2024 remarkable in their various spheres. The nominations, which were determined by the Independent Board of Editors, took cognizance of the verifiable achievements of the awardees in line with the theme of this year's edition, celebrating landmark accomplishments. The award was received by Managing Director and Editor-in-Chief of New Central, Kayode Akintemi, accompanied by top management staff.
More than 2 million monthly viewers.
New Central TV, congratulations.
Safe drinking water is a necessity, yet for millions of Nigerians who rely on sachet water, it's also a gamble. While many assume that the sachet water they buy is safe, reports of fake and contaminated products are on the rise, sparking serious health concerns. To examine the threat of adulterated sachet water and its impact on public health, News Center's Joshua Imarari takes us through the streets of Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, where residents share their experiences and concerns.
This right here for many Nigerians is one of the major sources of drinking water. But how do you know it is clean? How do you differentiate genuine sachet water from adulterated ones?
Sachet water, popularly known as pure water, is a lifeline for millions of Nigerians. It is cheap, accessible, and often the only option for those without access to treated tap water. But beneath the convenience lies a growing threat.
Because some have nice package. You see the right up at the back, the name, sky blue, and all those things. And when you taste it, they are not so good as you think.
I took the water maybe like for a week consequently. Then I started vomiting, green and everything. So they told me it was typhoid and asked me to stop taking the water and look for better, maybe bottled water or something. So
regulatory authorities like NAFDAC insist that all sachet water must meet approved health standards. But in reality, illegal operators continue to flood the market with untreated and unbranded products, leaving consumers exposed to health risk.
When you see water, once it's sachet, everybody just believes it's water. You take it like any other thing. So most time it can even be well water, it can be unrefined water, but so far it has been inside sachets, you just take it. So, but obviously it's not too healthy in a way for Nigerians.
Experts warn that consumption of fake and contaminated sachet water has been linked to underlying conditions such as cholera, typhoid, and other diseases.
Other people can get a lot of sickness from pure water, like typhoid, like even filariasis. You can get filariasis from dirty water. You can get poison, food poison. You can, let me call it, any foreign body that comes into your system. The system reacts to it.
For millions of Nigerians, sachet water is not just convenience, it is survival. But as the fight against fake and contaminated water continues, the real challenge is ensuring every drop is safe to drink. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
Away from that, in a major crackdown on international fraud, NAFDAC has exposed a sophisticated syndicate using fake documents to scam foreign companies. Director General of the agency, Professor Christiana Adeyeye, reveals the details of this high-level scandal. Our correspondent, Sumaya Abubakar, has details.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control says it uncovers a well-coordinated fraud targeting unsuspecting victims by individuals impersonating its officials.
It's a case of fraud and obtaining funds by impersonation as an official of NAFDAC.
The syndicate, operating from Aba, Abia State, used fake NAFDAC certificates and receipts to defraud companies from the UAE, China, Korea, Poland, and the UK. They lured victims with promises of registration, then introduced them to fake lawyers for exorbitant fees.
Our investigation revealed that the group operates 15 domiciliary and 5 local accounts in 7 Nigerian banks. The account in one of the banks has a BVN that is being used by the 2 key members of the group, Ikoro Ifendu and Rosemary Obosi. The exact number of the accounts have not been established because the suspects had deleted some of the accounts and the alert messages. The tentative cumulative inflow from different victims into the domiciliary accounts in Nigeria is estimated to be $950,000, while the sum of $450,000 is the estimated inflow into the accounts held offshore in Cotonou, Benin Republic.
NAFDAC is handing the fraud case over to the EFCC, signaling a broader investigation. In a separate operation, NAFDAC's ongoing investigations conducted at 3 open markets in Aba, Onitsha, and Idumota have uncovered the alarming presence of narcotics and a range of counterfeit drugs.
What we have found could reduce quality of life for millions of Nigerians. If you have diabetes, if you have hypertension, which need daily treatment, such people could die easily with what we have found.
The agency warns perpetrators of these nefarious activities to desist forthwith.
These are vaccines. Vaccines are supposed to be kept in the refrigerator or in the freezer.
In Lagos, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
Over 2,000 kilograms of various types of illicit drugs have been recovered from over 900 suspected drug dealers and users in Plateau State in the last 1 year. Of this figure, 939 are males, while 51 are females, as presented by the Plateau State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. News Center's Chizoba Anyowe tells us more.
Experts say there is a close relationship between drug abuse and crime. The Plateau State Commander of the NDLEA also shares this view.
Drugs has a nexus with almost all violent crimes, not only what is happening in Plateau State. You talk of rape, you talk of kidnapping, and so on and so forth. If these things are not there and then crises are not there, money that will be used to for schools, to get social amenities, they will channel them appropriately. But when there are crises, you divert the money to something else.
In a bid to reduce this crime to its barest minimum, the state commander says more arrests were made with the recovery of over 2,400 kilograms of illicit drugs.
We seized a man diesel truck. It was forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria. That truck was arrested with 4 persons carrying 1,978 kilograms of cannabis sativa. So we've concluded the case. The 4 persons involved were convicted. The truck was seized. And then 2024 too, we secured the conviction of 131 suspects at the Federal High Court Just, and some of the cases are still ongoing.
Aside inadequate operational vehicles and attacks on officers on duty, the agency seeks a proper rehabilitation center for victims of illicit drug use, especially with these uncompleted buildings for some years now that should serve that purpose.
When you arrest people, arrest them, some of them are users. Where do you take them to? You don't take them to court. You are supposed to rehabilitate them. But what we have here is just a mini rehabilitation. You cannot take more than 30 or at most 31. So these arrests, I'm telling you, 900 and something. Most of them are users. You just keep them here for brief intervention, 2-3 days. And that comes with additional costs. We have to feed them. Some of them will be sick. You know, when you don't take these drugs for some time, they become sick.
Despite the counter-narcotics efforts by the Plateau State Command of the NDLEA, the agency believes more needs to be done, but requires the collaboration and cooperation of all stakeholders. In Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Aniori.
Thank you for staying with us. The news continues now in West Africa, where Burkina Faso's military rulers has dismissed accusations that the army had committed abuses against civilians in the west of the country earlier this week. Earlier in the week, social media accounts had carried videos showing dozens of bloodied bodies thrown on the ground with no apparent signs of life, their hands and feet bound. Most of them appeared to be women, children, and elderly people. According to a local source, entire families of ethnic Fulanese were killed in the Solenzo area between March 10 and 11 by soldiers and allied civilian militias. On Friday, Human Rights Watch called the military leaders who seized power in Burkina Faso in September 2022 to investigate the killings. It counted 58 bodies in the video, but believes the death toll could be higher. Former Guinean President Alpha Condé, who was overthrown in 2021 coup, said Saturday that the ruling junta was trying to subjugate the opposition after the military suspended his party. The military government, led by General Mamadi Damboa, said on Friday it was suspending 28 political parties for 3 months, including 2 of the country's leading formations, Condé's Rally of the People of Guinea, RPG, and the Union of Republican Forces, UFR party of Sidia Touré, who, like Condé, is living abroad. The military government claims these parties failed to meet their obligations to provide bank accounts or hold a congress over the past 3 months. The military also dissolved 27 parties and placed 4 other political groups under observation. Chadian President Mohamed Idriss Déby Itno welcomed Marine Le Pen, president of the far-right National Rally Group in the French National Assembly. Le Pen said the visit is for Chad, its security development and sovereignty. She visits the African country for 3 days from Friday to Sunday, accompanied by Vice President of her party and a senior unelected official from the party's parliamentarian group. During the visit, she met with the President of Chad.
Pour le Tchad, pour sa sécurité, pour son développement, pour sa souveraineté. Il y a une continuité et je pense que le président et moi-même partageons cette vocation à améliorer la situation de nos peuples respectifs. Je suis évidemment consciente qu'il y a eu, comme on dirait en France, un coup de froid dans ces relations, mais l'amitié entre le Tchad et la France est une amitié très ancienne.
To Southern Africa now, where the death toll from Cyclone Jude that hit northern Mozambique last week has risen to at least 16 people, according to a new toll released on Saturday by the National Institute of Meteorology. At least 2 people are still missing and nearly 60 have been injured. Cyclone Jude hit the country's Indian Ocean coast on Monday, bringing winds of up to 195 kilometers an hour and more than 250 mm of rain over 24 hours. It is the 3rd cyclone to strike impoverished Mozambique in 4 months. In December, Cyclone Chido struck the Portuguese-speaking country, causing the deaths of at least 120 people and destroying almost 120,000 homes. At least 33 people were killed and dozens more injured when tornadoes and violent storms raked across the central United States. Roofs torn off homes and large trucks overturned as forecasters warned of more tornadoes to come this weekend. 8 people died in Kansas in a crash involving more than 50 vehicles caused by low visibility during a severe dust storm. Missouri State Highway Patrol confirmed 12 storm-related fatalities and shared images of boats piled on top of one another at a marina destroyed by the weather. The state police reported downed trees and power lines as well as damage to buildings, with some areas severely impacted by tornadoes, thunderstorms, and large hail. The first U.S. strike against Yemen's Houthis since Donald Trump took office killed 31 people, with the U.S. president warning hell will rain down upon the Iran-backed group if it did not stop attacking shipping. The Houthis, who have attacked Israel and Red Sea shipping throughout the Gaza war, said children were among those killed by the intense barrage of strikes. Attacks on Sana'a, as well as areas in Sada, Al-Baydeh, and Radai, killed at least 31 people and wounded 101, most of whom were children and women. Trump, in a post on social media, vowed to use overwhelming lethal force to put an end to the Houthis' actions, which the rebels say are in solidarity with Palestinians amidst the war in Gaza. Reacting, Iran's Revolutionary Guards on Sunday threatened a decisive response to any attack after U.S. President Donald Trump ordered a wave of airstrikes against Yemen's Houthi rebels and warned Tehran to stop backing the group. Iranian Guards Chief Hossein Salami denounced Trump's threats in a televised speech on Sunday, adding that Iran will not wage war, but if anyone threatens, it will give appropriate, decisive, and conclusive responses. The commander called the Houthis the representative of the Yemenis, adding the group made its strategic and operational decisions independently.
ایران مبادرت به جنگ نمی کند، اما اگر کسی او را تهدید کند، ایران عزیز پاسخهای درخور و تعیین کننده و تمام کننده خواهد داد. انصارالله به عنوان نماینده یمنی ها تصمیمات راهبردی و عملیاتیش را خودش اتخاذ می کند.
A Myanmar junta airstrike on a village held by anti-coup fighters killed at least 12 people. Myanmar's military seized power in a 2021 coup which has plunged the country into a factious civil war, and analysts say the embattled junta is increasingly using their airstrikes to target civilians. The strike hits the village of Letpanla, around 60 kilometers north of the country's south biggest city of Mandalay. The village in Singu Township is held by the People's Defense Forces, PDF, anti-coup guerrillas who took arms after the military toppled the country's civilian government 4 years ago. Some business now. The executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, has called for greater commitment to integrity within the agency with the aim of surpassing the Commission's 365.4 billion naira monetary recoveries in 2024. This was disclosed in a statement by the Commission on Saturday following its 3-day management retreat. After critical review of its 2024 activities, the anti-graft agency urged operatives to exceed previous outcomes on its asset recovery, assets prosecutions by using strategic redirection, organizational re-engineering, and the establishment of new departments alongside the restructuring of existing one. Nigeria's National Pension Commission, or PENCOM, has issued a new directive that grants pension fund administrators, the PFAs, now have full authority to approve and process several categories of retirement benefits without requiring prior approval from the Commission. This policy change, which takes effect on June 1, 2025, is aimed at streamlining pension payments and reducing bureaucratic delays in Nigeria's contributory pension scheme. Previously, PFAs were required to check PENCOM's no objection before disbursing funds to retirement savings account holders. Temitope Adesina made history as the first Nigerian to win an NCAA high jump title, clearing 1.94 meters to share the NCAA indoor championship with Georgia's Elena Kulichenko. Both athletes missed at 1.97 meters and had identical attempts, edging out NCAA leader Rachel Glenn, who finished third with 1.91 meters. Adesina's victory marks Texas Tech's third title in the event. Meanwhile, Ella Onojuwovo of LSU placed 8th in the women's 400 meters, clocking 52.18 seconds, while Isabella Whittaker won in a record-breaking 49.24 seconds. Joy Udo Gabriel claimed the NCAA D160 meters title, with a personal best of 7.11, breaking her own NCAA record and Missouri Southern School record for the 6th time this year. Nigeria's under-18 men's handball team advanced to the final of the 2025 IHF Trophy Intercontinental Phase with a dominant 43-24 victory over Uzbekistan in Pristina, Kosovo. After a setback against Kosovo in the group stage, coach Emeka Nnamani's team delivered a high-efficiency performance, leading 24-13 at halftime and maintaining control to secure the win. This marks their second final appearance since 2019 and ensures a podium finish for the third consecutive time. Meanwhile, Nigeria's under-23 team fell 30-23 to host Bulgaria in the IHF Emerging Nations Championship semi-finals. Despite struggling against Bulgaria's strong defense, they made history as the only African team to reach the semi-finals. They will battle for bronze on Sunday. Jack Draper ended Carlos Alcaraz's pursuit of a historic Indian Wells three-peat, defeating the Spaniard 6-1, 0-6, 6-4 to reach his first ATP Masters 1000 final. The 14th-ranked Briton will face Denmark's Holger Rune, who overcame world number 6 Daniel Medvedev 7-5, 6-4. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Adobayero Sanusi's camps have deferred on appeal court judgment over Kanu emirship. News Central has emerged fastest rising television station in the Independent Awards 2024. We also told you that Burkina Faso military has denied accusations of attacks on civilians. Do send your eyewitness report to the numbers showing now on your screen. You can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, or on Star Times channel 274, Abo TV, as well as YouTube. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.